Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Cosmic Culture, the channel where we talk all things major movie and television news, theories, breakdowns, and much, much more. I'm your host Chris, and we've got a big one for you today. Today I'm talking about the multiverse saga and its major connections. Now, throughout the entirety of Phase 4, one of the biggest complaints from Marvel fans who loved the Infinity Saga, loved the Easter eggs, the connecting building blocks that eventually led to the entire decimation of half of the universe, and then Avengers Endgame and the destruction of Thanos, getting the Infinity Stones, going back in time, all of that amazing stuff. However, in Phase 4, a building phase, there has been significantly less connections between shows. Shows like WandaVision, Hawkeye, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Ms. Marvel, they have focused inwards. There haven't really been any cameos, secret plot points that lead into the big connecting picture, which now we know, thanks to SDCC, is Secret Wars. And people are kind of complaining a lot about the big connectivity. And that's something that Marvel, the MCU, has always thrived on. The Easter eggs that connect each movie, the plot that continues the post-credit scenes that have been really, really exciting, and the overall flow of the story, which completely agreeably in Phase 4 has been a little lacking. Well, now that we know the direction, we know that we're in the multiverse saga, which seemingly lasts through Phases 5, 4, and 6, ending with Secret Invasion after the Avengers Kang Dynasty event. And purely based off of the fact that we have had several projects, movies, shorts, and TV shows on Disney+, we can start to connect the dots. We know the direction we're headed, we know the main plot point, so it's time to put everything together. So in today's video, we have a massive fun theory of where everything connects. And it all seemingly begins with the Shang-Chi post-credit scene featuring Wong, Bruce Banner, and Captain Marvel. We're going to jump into this, try to follow the yarn, and hopefully you can have some fun with this as well. Let me know some of your own theories in the comment section down below, and don't forget, if you haven't already, to subscribe and turn on that notification bell. And you can check me out on my other socials, Instagram at Chris M. Rosser and Twitter at TheCultureChris. Links to both of these are in the description down below. Alright, the Multiverse Saga, Phase 4. Let's start. 10 Rings. Shang-Chi. What's the big connection here? Well, that was a really awesome origin movie. It gave us a really cool introduction to Shang-Chi, to many other characters, to this whole other dimension, but mostly to the 10 Rings, which at the very end, Wong brings Katie and Sean to the Sanctum Sanctorum, and they talk about the signature of the rings and where they're from. Present for this conversation is Bruce Banner, not the Hulk, Bruce Banner, and Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel says she's not familiar with any of the signatures coming from it. It's not Chitauri tech. And then we also hear from Bruce Banner that it doesn't have any of the required gamma signatures for him to identify what it is, but they are very, 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 very old. Wong can't identify him, and this is an interesting group. Ms. Marvel at some point says that, oh, I have something I gotta go check on, and leaves. This is the most important post-credit scene of Phase 4. Now, it was seemingly short and also seemingly didn't give us a lot of information, but the people involved here have a lot to say about where we're headed. For starters, Bruce Banner was there, who wasn't the Hulk, and the timeline is starting to get a little bit fuzzy. We haven't seen Bruce Banner. He's been Professor Hulk. All throughout Endgame, he never reverted back to Bruce Banner. He's just been this hybrid version of Bruce Banner and the Hulk, Professor Hulk. But people are getting tired of this. They want to see Hulk. They want to see World War Hulk. And we might be getting to that in just a second. But keep that in mind, as we enter She-Hulk, which is starting here in just a few days, we will be seeing Professor Hulk still. The Hulk who talks and thinks and has cognitive abilities like Bruce Banner, but is also big, green, and super strong, and prone to making some bad decisions when he gets a little upset. We're going to be seeing this character. However, in the post-credit scene of Shang-Chi, we saw Bruce Banner. Now, Bruce Banner's connections to the MCU are very important. One, he's one of the original main core Avengers, which gives him a huge outreach to original characters' cameos when they need help, when they start calling in for the team to come back together, because something with this crazy ancient tech, which may or may not be connected to the bangle from Ms. Marvel, starts to go awry. He's going to be calling in Thor, who he's very good friends with and hung out very, very often with in Thor Ragnarok. He may even be the immediate connection to characters from the old Avengers team like Spider-Man. Nick Fury could get involved. Maybe anybody that's involved with Stark Industries, the Captain Americas. All of these characters are going to be brought in by Bruce Banner or Hulk. Also, not to mention the World War Hulk series, which is now going to be an epic team collaboration, according to rumors, and according to the same rumors, is going to be the last big team-up project before we get into the Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars. So this is where we're going to see a lot of these characters start to get back together, presumably trying to control Hulk, who will be leaving the Professor Hulk phase and going back into an even more enraged Hulk that we haven't ever seen in the MCU before. So that's a massive connection. The street side, these characters like Hawkeye, who's still around, Spider-Man in the background out there, all of these are the characters that know Hulk. This is where we're going to start to meet them. Then we can talk about Captain Marvel, who has access to the space side of the MCU. Guardians of the Galaxy, Adam Warlock, the Eternals, all of the other characters that fall into that category, Captain Marvel is going to be familiar with, going to have access to, and will be able to reach out in need of help as well. Also, we're talking about these space technologies, the bangle from Miss Marvel, and of course, the 10 rings. Now, in Miss Marvel, keep in mind, there was a huge 10-ring Easter egg, probably one of the most important Easter eggs of Phase 4, because it connects the bangle to the 10 rings. Now it's possible that the technology that is the 10 rings is the same technology that is the bangle. And Miss Marvel, who left to go and check out a signature, many people believe left that post-credit scene of Shang-Chi to go and figure out what's going on with whatever it is that swapped Miss Marvel and Captain Marvel in the post-credit scene of Miss Marvel. Which, if you haven't seen, the bangle starts reacting, and then all of a sudden she kind of teleports into this portal and Miss Marvel shows up. The assumption is that she found the other bangle. It was revealed in Miss Marvel that there are 2 of them, but nobody knows where the other one is. Miss Marvel was very likely holding the one, and Captain Marvel was at the other, and they switched locations because of some weird magic that went awry. And we know that Miss Marvel is going to be a huge player in the Marvels movie coming out in Phase 5. But the important part is this technology that are in what we're calling the negabands at the moment, because there's 2 of them and they have to do with Captain Marvel, and the history of the comics and all of that is very, very intriguing. But then we're talking about the connection to the 10 rings, which the 10 rings Easter egg in Miss Marvel at the location where the bangle was found does kind of hint at the possibility that the 10 rings and the 2 bangles are the same alien technology. So that's a massive connection between Shang-Chi, the Marvels, and now also Bruce Banner, who has a connection to the street level Avengers. Follow a little bit longer, we have to go through the biggest key to the entire puzzle, and that is Wong. Wong is currently the Sorcerer Supreme, and although Doctor Strange likes to make fun of him, saying that it only happened because Doctor Strange wasn't on the planet for 5 years and he got it by default, he is the Sorcerer Supreme, and he takes this job very, very seriously. Every time we see him, whether in Spider-Man No Way Home, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, or wherever across the MCU, including Shang-Chi, where he showed up at that secret hidden fighting spot with Abomination, which is going to connect to She-Hulk, another connection. Wong is constantly involved in trying to order the universe. Picking up everything after the pieces of Thanos has probably been a massive responsibility for Wong, and seeing him constantly showing up in different projects, and coming and getting Shang-Chi and Katie at the very end, bringing them over to Bruce Banner, bringing them to Captain Marvel, talking about these bands, going across the universe, putting all the pieces together, having to deal with Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, having the only known character who can travel the multiverse through portals in America Chavez, now at Comertage training, really makes Wong an important character. He has his finger in every single kind of realm, the street side, the space side, the monster hunters, the warlocks and the wizards, and everything. Wong is a central character, so where we see Wong, we know something important is going to happen. Well, Wong shows up in She-Hulk. This has been confirmed in trailers. We know that he had something to do with Abomination since they both showed up together in Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, and we've seen him in the trailers for She-Hulk, which also has Abomination under some type of trial, which Jennifer Walters, who is She-Hulk, is trying. So all very interesting connections. The big point here is I think She-Hulk will be the first Disney Plus project and the first project of Phase 4 with major connections to everything. Between Bruce Banner being involved and his connection to Miss Marvel and the space side and all of those things happening, and then Wong and his connection to the mythic side, to the Ten Rings, Shang-Chi, Abomination, now we have She-Hulk who has Bruce Banner in it, And we might learn a little bit more about the 10 Rings. We're going to learn a little bit more about Abomination and what was going on with that. We're going to start seeing a lot of pieces come together. On top of all of that, She-Hulk has to do with the current administration of the world. Superheroes are now common knowledge in the MCU. There are kids who follow superheroes on TikTok, and there's Avengers Con, and all of these really, really cool things like we saw in Ms. Marvel. They're common knowledge. Aliens are common knowledge. So the world has to alter the way it exists, and there's this whole division that Jennifer Walters as a lawyer is going to be trying against to learn and understand how the administration of supers and supernatural individuals does work on Earth. This is a huge connecting point as well, because we have the opportunity for many cameos of characters, both from the past of the MCU and coming up in the future of the MCU, who will be able to have some type of role or involvement in She-Hulk. Not to mention the unexplained connection between the 10 Rings and the Bangles looming in the background, so we will for sure be looking for details about that, even though that's probably not going to be the main focus of She-Hulk. But between Banner, Ms. Marvel, and Wong, we know Banner and Wong will both be in She-Hulk. These are huge characters. And following the insane events of Ms. Marvel's finale, not only the post-credit scene where the two characters switch, but also the revelation that her DNA has been quote-unquote mutated, we know that X-Men are looming in the background, or mutants are looming in the background, and we've had the announcement of the Fantastic Four for a very long time. So this is also all very exciting and important. As we continue out of Phase 4, we will be hitting Phase 5, and Marvel has kind of sold the entire idea, has given us the entire idea. They've laid their cards on the table. This is the multiverse saga. It's going all the way through to Secret Wars, and everything in between is going to be a wild ride. These are some crazy connections, little details that have to be noticed. Banner has connections to the street side of the MCU, which is your Spider-Man, your Captain America, your Hawkeye, your old Avengers, and those nostalgic continuations, as well as potentially the young Avengers and other characters who will be growing up through those roots. Ms. Marvel has connection to the space side, your Guardian of the Galaxy, Adam Warlock, potentially Nova, all of the characters that will be filling into that area we're going to be getting with Ms. Marvel, Captain Marvel, and the rest of that storyline. And then Wong has connections to everything else. The Mystic side, potentially the Moon Knight side with the Midnight Suns. The Thunderbolts will probably be somewhere in here as well with She-Hulk and the entire administration, everything coming around in that direction as well. So if you made it to the very end of this video, keep in mind one thing. She-Hulk has promised to be a massive project for the MCU. A huge Phase 4 project that is going to connect a lot of the dots that have very subliminally been laid throughout Phase 4, and although people were getting a little irritated at these subliminal nods, it's time for them to start connecting, and it's time for our minds to start being blown with awe, excitement, new introduction of characters, theories, and alien tech. Let me know your guys' thoughts of all these connections down below. Are there any aspects or pieces I missed? I'm sure there are. So don't forget to remind me. Thank you guys so much for watching to the very end of the video. If you found it helpful, useful, or entertaining, consider subscribing and turning on that notification bell. And I'll be sure to catch you all in the next one right here on Cosmic Culture.